Picture this. You're on the ground floor of a building and you have two choices to get just up to the second floor. You can either take the stairs that are right in front of you, or you can walk into an elevator, push the button, and off you go. Which do you choose? Well, researchers have found that only 2% of people are going to take the stairs, even though most of us know that taking the stairs is probably the healthier choice for us when it comes to making the decision between stairs or an elevator. Why is it that we avoid discomfort even though we know that it's good for us? That's what we're going to be talking about in this episode of the Art of Practice podcast. Hello, welcome to the Art of Practice. My name is Sue Paget, and today for this episode of the podcast, you are going to come on a walk with me. The topic we're going to talk about today is perfectly appropriate for me and hopefully for you. We're talking about discomfort. And when I talk about discomfort, I'm not talking about pain, stuff that really hurts or is completely out of alignment for us and is not the right thing to do or to feel. I'm talking about discomforts like not feeling motivated to do something, or when the going gets tough, you don't want to get going, that kind of thing. So the reason why this topic of discomfort is very applicable to me right now, because this is the first episode of the Art of Practice podcast where I'm videoing myself. And I'm not only videoing myself, but I'm doing it in kind of bad conditions where it's probably going to start raining hard any second. So I have to carry an umbrella, I have to carry my phone. I have to pretty much just jump in to this thing of videoing the podcast. And I've wanted to do it for quite some time, but I've also probably, if I'm honest, been putting it off a bit, waiting for the right time, waiting till I have better equipment, all the excuses. And then just in thinking about the topic of discomfort, I thought, you know what? Perfect example to walk the talk and get a little uncomfortable and talk about why it's so important for us to embrace discomfort. There's this theory called the 2% theory. And it's that, just imagine you have a choice between taking an elevator or taking the stairs to go up a couple floors. Which person are you? The person, most of us know that if we take the stairs, that's going to help us with our fitness. We might get a little hot and sweaty, but it's the better thing for our bodies to do. But supposedly most people, 98% of people are going to take that elevator. Only 2% of people are going to take the stairs because we're creatures of comfort. And now in this time where everything is relatively easy or supposedly easy, whether it is, having AI do everything for us or having all of this technology, we're becoming soft. And so what happens is when we become soft is it makes us less resilient. It makes us less motivated, more fearful, kind of stuck in a fear loop so that we don't expand. One thing, if you do any kind of practice, whether it's, yoga, meditation, writing, knitting, art, whatever your thing is, you probably encounter discomfort all the time. I know that I do. For example, here in doing my creativity, working on this project, I experience the discomfort of having to try something new. Or when I do yoga, a lot of times I'm so unmotivated to do it, I don't even feel like rolling out my yoga mat. But I push through it and do it. And so discomfort is a very constant companion to those of us that do practice. We're constantly kind of pushing through it to the point of the discomfort is like when we get through it, we're like, I'm really proud of myself that I pushed through it. And what I'm coming to find is that rather than just looking at discomfort as a byproduct of practice, I'm starting to look at discomfort as a practice within itself. So now any opportunity that I have to experience going out of my comfort zone, I say, okay, I'm going to practice this. I'm going to see what I need to do to support myself so that I can experience this discomfort, experience all the squirmy feelings that happen when you go outside your little comfortable square. And I'm going to see how I can make things a little bit easier so I can get through this. And every single time that I do this, of practicing discomfort, I grow. I learned that actually, you know what? I can do hard things. And so the next time a discomfort situation happens, I've got this. I know I can do it. So I want to share with you a few ideas that really help me look at discomfort in a whole new way that not only benefit my practice, but benefit my whole life. You know, they just help me so I can up level, learn, grow, and just become stronger. I had to give my arm a bit of a rest. It's exhausting being a blogger, being a YouTuber. All right, the first thing that I want to talk about, the first thing that helps me is the idea we can go beyond our boundaries. We have these self-imposed limits, I think, in our minds of what we're capable of. And we're actually so much more capable than we actually realize. An example of this is I've been working out lately, probably the main reason why I can hold this camera with my arm like this. But I've been working out lately, and one of the things that we have to do in my workout is we have to do some stuff that is giving me totally triggering me back to when I was in 6th grade. When I was like 12 years old, we had to do broad jumps, and we had to do push-ups and jogging and all of these things that I have not done I'm in my 60s, and I just haven't done them. I've just avoided them. And so I noticed that when those exercises came up, I would be like, nah, I can't do them. I'll just do some squats, or I'll just go for a quick walk for a minute or whatever. And then I just allowed myself, I was like, you know what? It's been a long time since you've done this broad jump. Why don't you give it a go? Forget any of the stories in your head. Like when I was 12 years old and had to do them, I was terrible at them. And I felt really super insecure and scared to do them and embarrassed to do them. And so I really had to just say to myself, you're not 12 years old anymore, honey. Have a go. Have fun. And you know what? I could do it. I surprised myself. I'm probably not great, but just even doing it, having a go and not taking it so seriously, by doing these little extra things, I'm starting to discover that actually I've got quite an inner athlete inside. And it's helping me grow. So that's an example of sometimes we have these old stories, these old beliefs in our head, and it's really worth testing the limits of our boundaries. You don't know. So just notice the next time you think you can't do something that might be cool to do, have a crack. See what happens. Even just trying will give you the opportunity to experience a little bit of discomfort, the discomfort of just going past and just testing, but you might surprise yourself. Hello, Rue. Are you feeling comfortable or discomfort right now? Another thing that always helps me so much with my practices is thinking about the idea of noticing the before and afters. And what that means is whenever I roll out my yoga mat, like dragging to do it because I'm not motivated, and obviously I'm using yoga as my example. It's one of my main practices, but just substitute whatever your practice is. But say I'm exhausted, or I'm lazy, or I have time pressure, and there's other things that I should be doing, blah, 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 blah. Every excuse in the book, just all of the feelings, all of the roadblocks that keep us from being consistent with the practice. Well, that might be the case before I roll out my mat. But when I'm finished with my practice, I never, ever regret having done it. It's like going for a walk. The hardest part sometimes is just getting out the door and putting on your shoes. But once you do it, you feel good, you feel renewed, you feel like you've gotten your needs met, all of the things. So to really be aware of that before and after of pushing past discomfort is really a powerful motivator for me, because I just know that if I can just push through this, I'm going to get through the other side and I'm going to feel really, really good. And one other motivator for me when it comes to pushing discomfort is the idea of being that person, be that girl, be that guy. Be the person that is willing to push through discomfort so that they can actually live up to their potential. I think a lot about Barbra Streisand as an example for this. I recently listened to her 5,000 hour memoir, the audio version, which is really cool. And one thing that is so surprising with her is that she doesn't think her singing is that special, which is mind blowing. And she also has experiences really terrible stage fright. In fact, there are many artists that experience really horrible performance anxiety. And yet, can you imagine if Barbara listened to that voice in her head that said, "Don't do this. This is uncomfortable. Why are you putting yourself through this? Can you imagine a life without hearing Barbra Streisand's voice if she just listened to that?" And when you think about it, for many artists, people that have this gift, they do feel afraid to push themselves out of their comfort zone. And then in turn, their gifts are not shared with the world. And you can imagine what that feels like to die with the music inside you. So we have to, in order to experience discomfort, is sometimes the only path to being able to fulfill the promise of our gifts. So we need to be that person that we see in our mind, that we know we're capable of. Feel the feelings, feel the fear, and do it anyways. And I like to think that if there's people that are as magnificent as Barbra Streisand and all the people that contribute their gifts to the world but have had to push through, how to embrace discomfort to do the thing, that is so inspiring to me. It makes me feel like, if the greatest people in the world, the greatest contributors to the world, they feel these things. They don't just automatically go and do the things without discomfort. Discomfort is a part of growth. And having these role models that do it make me feel like, okay, they do it, I can do it. When it comes to practice, the key ingredients are consistency, just showing up all the time and just being willing to go on a journey of taking things one step at a time, really learning and, like I said, growing, showing up, being consistent. And that can really put off a lot of people. Say you want to learn how to play the guitar. You show up for a few days in a row of playing, and then it just gets hard and doesn't make any sense, and you give it up. Guitar didn't work for me. But if you just persist and work on it day after day, month after month, year after year, it's mind-blowing, the impact of practice and how you actually become a musician from doing it. That's what practice is. It's just showing up every single day. And even if you only have a few minutes a day, doing the thing. That's how we actually get the benefits of practice. But you have to accept that there's going to be, probably the majority of the times are going to be you're not in the mood, you're under time pressure, it's too hard, doesn't feel like you're improving at all. Practice is hand in hand with discomfort. But the gold in a practice is actually pushing through the discomfort as the benefit in itself. Practicing discomfort is a way to counter all of the softness that society is bringing to us. It's a way to stay really super strong. Ooh, here comes the rain. So I hope this motivates you to just look at wherever you're feeling that kind of discomfort anything that kind of puts you off the path of mastery in your life through practice, through ritual, through habit, and seeing if you can find little ways to test the boundaries of your limits, to remember the befores and afters, and to be that person who is willing to just push through the squirmies to do what they're here on earth to do the things that take care of themselves, body, mind, and soul. Oh, and guess what? I just recorded my first video podcast. I pushed through the discomfort. I felt the feelings and I did it anyway. And you know what? I grew a little bit. So which person are you? The person that takes the stairs or the person that takes the elevator? My practice challenge to you is to see where in your life can you be the 2%er, the person that embraces a little bit of discomfort to get to the other side. Take the challenge and just notice the before and afters. If you grow, if you go to the next level, if you just feel a little bit stronger. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.